It is currently 1:12 p.m. It's Thursday, June 20th, 2024. This is just to show you the specific environment. The specific environment is revealing the absence of any natural environment, speaking to the demonic circumstances where the state of California is engaged in what is group stalking. And it is demonic activity that a government is engaging in, and the government is doing it in concert with the people of the state who are maintaining presence in that specific environment for the criminal purpose of a whole society engaging in what is group stalking an American citizen. So what I'm showing is my apartment building at Alvarado Gardens. This morning I documented the maintenance of the light source. And so we can even start at the top of the apartment. When I'm walking out of my apartment, I'm showing the engineered light that's on the ceilings, not sunlight that would be present inside of my bedroom, inside of the depths of my bedroom. This is stalking with engineered light. I'm subject to surveillance inside of the private space, which is the case right now as well. 24/7 is the case, just showing the ongoing stalking with light, which is where demons are group stalking. This is not even sunlight. Sunlight, when you pay attention to it, this isn't even the behavior of sunlight. This is a light that's appearing in locations where sunlight is actually not going to be placed into the depths at an angle, the trajectory of an angle where it's creating the shadow of the staircase. And this is showing the shadow of the staircase flat on the floor. This is speaking to a light source that is aiming light horizontally as opposed to what is the sun that's above us, not at eyesight with me on the third floor of an apartment building, shooting light horizontally. The sun that is heightened above us, higher above us, is casting light at a downward trajectory, and this would actually be shaded. This is the placement of engineered light, and it's the same engineered light that's covering on the inside of my walls, on appearing on the ceilings, and moving about. Again, the more that I document, this is engineered light that's appearing on the staircase. This is for the purposes of group stalking, and the entity is stalking in planes and helicopters while I am remaining inside of my apartment. And that's what's covering the inside, and that's also what's covering outside. This is what's covering the whole property. This is what's covering the landscape. This is an engineered environment, and this is a demonic environment where group stalking is underway by a population. And I am capturing the placement of this. Again, the blinds are closed and lights going at a downward trajectory in the back of my apartment. There's light that's on the ceiling, an upward trajectory of engineered light. This is all manner of what is demonic. The light activity is speaking to what is criminal conduct by a government that's keeping you under surveillance, and also engaged in what is surveillance on the internet as well via communication devices. And they're doing it in concert with the people of the state who live. So that's why I'm taking pictures of everyone's front door. They're maintaining criminal presence while group stalking by address, where the demon possessed live in the demonic environment at the crime scene, which is the apartment complex. And that's why they're all going to federal prison, because this malicious system is fully exposed. And this is also why the entity is stalking me by helicopters where I live and where I work. It just so happens to be that I live and work at the same address, meaning the same apartment complex. Okay. Which is for purposes of exposure. That's providence, because you're looking at what is the non-movement of what is under no circumstances the sun. And so as I walk from my apartment, this is 8:30 in the morning, you can see the light source, which again, my documentation is showing the presence of the so-called sun in an entirely different region. So that's first of all speaking to an impossibility that this could be the sun that would be present over me in an entirely different region for the duration of the day, maintaining the same position over me. And I'm looking at it while I'm walking downstairs. The shadow of this staircase is flat on the ground, which is ongoing light activity, while the sun is speaking to light that's being casted horizontally as opposed to a downward trajectory of sunlight. This is engineered light that's touching all over surfaces, and the engineered light creates the object of whatever that engineered light touches, and it appears flat on the ground. This is why you have and how you have the shadow of the staircase appearing in the staircase, which is creating light activity. And I'm capturing the light source that's remaining in alignment with me as I walk downstairs. This is very specific with regard to the maintenance of the light source. And this is how you're identifying stalkers as I'm walking downstairs in the apartment complex. And it is, by the way, not just Alvarado Gardens. The whole population is group stalking. They're all covered in engineered light. They're in the specific environment. And the focus is me, which is why you have the light source present over me at the same location at the front of my apartment building. And I'm going to show you what you're looking at on the bottom down here, because the light source is still present at the face of my apartment building, building 1806, at the bottom where I'm showing this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is where the light source remains right now. Right now, it is 1:16 p.m. But I want to give context because I'm going to show you, this is where the entity is flying over my apartment. This is the psychotic and mentally deranged and demon possessed agency that is a terrorist organization as opposed to a law enforcement agency. And they are in the streets engaging in criminal conduct with the people of the state as opposed to serving and protecting the public like police officers do. They're engaged in 24-hour group stalking, and they are doing so in service to Satan. They're demon possessed. All right. And this is that which they're engaging in concert with the people of the state who are group stalking as a population together. And that evidence of that condition and the evidence of that group stalking conduct is also present through this specific environment. I'm showing the light source that's remaining in alignment to me as I walk downstairs. This is what I documented today at 8:30 in the morning. Okay. I'm at this same entrance at the face of my apartment building. This is what I'm looking at 8:30 in the morning. This is what I documented on June 17th, 2024 at the bottom where I'm facing my apartment building, and the light source is at the same location when you're looking at the pattern of what the light source is doing at this point in the morning at 8:30. I've shown you the pattern the entity engages in. The sun is rising from the ground up to be over the top of my head at the middle of the day in order to be as though it's setting on the opposite side of my person, which is how I get the sunrise and the sunset through both windows, the living room and the bedroom window of my apartment, which is the specific environment, not the natural environment. And it's very exclusive maintenance of stationary presence of a light source. And it is scientifically impossible that that's the natural environment. That is where demons are group stalking. And that is what the LAPD are doing, group stalking. And they're doing so through the mind-boggling and very highly revealing. It's revealing the mental illness of demons who are in the position of government that's shared by Dominic Choi and the Los Angeles Police Department. That's, again, relevant to the group stalkers that are the people of the state over whom Karen Bass is a mayor. I want to be clear, both her condition and her criminal conduct. She's a group stalker. She happens to be a politician. The people of the state are group stalkers who are supposedly constituents. They're the people of the state and they're group stalking in the state of California. That's what's going on in Los Angeles. That's how I'm able to capture the exclusive placement of the so-called sun over me for a duration of hours based on this documentation, 8:30 in the morning, which I showed you the sunrise outside my living room window earlier than this. But let's just look at this from 8:30. And this is down here at the bottom. The light source that's remaining over my head as I'm standing in front of my same apartment building, building 1806, which is non-movement. While I am facing the light source walking downstairs, I am directly in front of my apartment building. So let's look at the time because all I'm doing is taking pictures of where I'm at. 8:31 and 42 seconds, 8:31 and 41 seconds as my back is to the hillside, which is where the light source is keeping in alignment with me. At the same face of my apartment building at 1:58 in the afternoon, the light source, as I've shown, is the pattern remaining on one side to be at the top over the top of my head in its zenith, which I'm showing here at the bottom at 1:58 in the afternoon. And as I've shown the pattern, the entity is maintaining a light source as though that light source is then setting in alignment to me, which is what I'm documenting on an ongoing basis. For example, what you are looking at that I documented and through my window of my bedroom, this is the same light source at 5:07 in the evening. This is the engineered light that's on the ceiling inside of my bedroom at 5:07 in the evening. And this is the same property where I'm walking out of my apartment at 8:30 in the morning today. And this is, again, the pattern of being on the east side of my person outside of my living room window. What you're looking out at in the evening were the demons that are the LAPD, Dominic Choi's LAPD. Dominic Choi, who was not ignorant about what the Los Angeles Police Department are engaging in, which is within a long documented pattern of conduct of many police departments before I showed the criminal conduct of the Los Angeles Police Department in the shoes of the state, group stalking as a demon-possessed and corrupt government. No, Dominic Choi is not ignorant about it. There's a pattern here, and the chief of police all know about what these corrupt law enforcement agencies are doing. It is their job because the state of California is engaged in criminal surveillance and they're demon possessed in doing so. And they're doing it in a demonic environment where I'm showing the evidence of what is a scientific impossibility that the sun is remaining in perfect alignment with me. This is very exclusive placement of the light source, and this is demonic light that has nothing to do with the behavior of sunlight. And this is indeed exactly what I'm speaking to, the LAPD engaging in group stalking in helicopter. And this is captured 5:25 in the afternoon, and the entity is group stalking, and you're looking at where the helicopter activity is targeted. as to where I'm located. And this is what I'm continuously documenting on an ongoing basis. This is what the entity is doing while I am showing the light source that's over me at building 1814. And this is captured again where I'm located at 10:53 in the morning. The entity is maintaining a light source as I'm documenting on an ongoing basis. As I walk to any and every building, the light source is remaining directly over the top of my head as I remain at the same apartment complex. This is the people of the state that begin pacing as I take pictures, including FedEx, as you'll see. The light source is over me while you're looking at traffic. This is demonic pacing. They're group stalking on Glendale Boulevard. All right, the sun is not over any of them. The sun remains over me. And this is showing what is the same location where the light source is remaining after 5 p.m. This is essentially the same location. It's remaining. This is my bedroom window right here. The light source is in a position to be in alignment with my bedroom window on this side of the parking lot in the evening. That's what you're looking at the bottom. Okay, this is the same parking lot where I'm inside of my bedroom and the entity is stalking in a helicopter at 5:25 in the afternoon, where under no circumstances is the sun going to be present from 11 o'clock till after 5 o'clock in the afternoon at one address. This is where an entity is stalking in helicopters. All right, this is the light source that's over the back portion above the apartment building. And when I walk to the front portion of my apartment, which is what I captured, it moves, bounces over to be over my head at the front of the apartment building. This is nothing other than stalking with the light source. This is how I'm capturing an ongoing pattern of conduct. This is where the entity is remaining with a light source. And this is after this is 4:59 in the afternoon. I want to be clear what you're looking at 4:59 in the afternoon and be reminded about what I told you is the case when I am standing and this is building on the bottom. This is building 1802 where the light source is over that apartment building. I am standing right here facing
my leasing office is over there. This is just speaking to again where Amazon
that's building 1802 in the evening. This building right here on the bottom. The light source is directly over the top of my head right here at 10:53 in the morning. The light source is still at this property over this building as I'm facing the light source at the end of the day, like I documented on June 17, 2024 at 4:59 in the afternoon when I'm getting off of work. And this light source that's over my head at 10:53 in the morning, directly in perfect alignment with me, where the entity is stalking in helicopters.
After 5 p.m. and I'm in the same part.
I want you to pay attention to what you're actually witnessing.
Here is the light source that's hovering.
This light source is on the opposite side of the same parking lot, just over building 1802. It's over the top of this apartment building that you're looking at the bottom, building 1802. It's the same parking lot and it's the same property. And this is capturing the phenomenon. This is evidence of what is, again, the demon possessed group stalkers. They're not just stalking as a population, which is weird and freaky by itself. But there's more to it. It's that this entity is demon possessed, and that's why they're group stalking. Okay, demon possession does not take away your will to choose to do right and wrong. You're not under some hypnosis and you don't know what you're doing. No. Demon possession is speaking to literally the decision making and the personality defects, which in the natural someone would diagnose as a mental illness. It's a public safety concern. It's a spiritual condition, and it is the explanation for what is psychotic behavior, stalking an American citizen, stalking a stranger, which is what group stalkers are doing. But you're also being group stalked by those who you work with, by those who you personally know by name, who you think may be your friend. You may think you may be married to your spouse, who is of this condition and is engaging in the pattern of conduct to your own demise. And doing so in concert with the government, in concert with the people of the state. And legally speaking, whether you know them personally or not, they are the same entity. They are the people of the state who are conforming to a unique and specific and identical pattern of conduct, a behavioral pattern in an environment that is literally the proof of their condition, the fact that they are demons. So this is subject to what is, again, demon possession. So this is what I'm pointing out. This is building 1814. And on the bottom, this is building 1802. And the light source is directly above both buildings, which is across this parking lot is what's separating these two buildings. That's literally impossible that the sun would be over the same property. And that's exactly what this is evidence of, what it's showing. This is non-movement of the sun. The sun is not in some position where it just looks as though it's above building 1802. You can see the shadow of the palm trees. The light source is right here, remaining at the same location, going from left side of my person to the right side of my person while it's remaining at one address all day long. And this is 10:53 in the morning. On the bottom, this is 4:59 in the evening. And then the entity goes from being in alignment with my leasing office where I'm working all day to being in alignment with my bedroom, my apartment where I return, which is what you're looking at as I walk and I take the same trail that I'm taking up here in the afternoon, in the morning not this specific video, but this trail from my apartment where I am walking in front of my apartment and the light sources I'm walking toward the front of my apartment, and this is what I'm capturing at 11:10 in the morning. And this is the same path where the light source is remaining over me. So the only difference is in the evening, the entity keeps the light source on the back portion of my apartment building, which is where I'm capturing it in the evening while it remains in alignment to me. So I want to be clear. This is 5:07. Moments earlier, this is the light source at 5:04. Okay, so this is speaking to what is as I go from the leasing office to at 5:04 in 33 seconds up into my bedroom at less than 5 minutes later. And this is the light source in alignment with me at 5:07 in 7 seconds. This is the engineered light that coexists with it. And it exists, as you saw this morning. It has nothing to do with the light sources. It's a distinct method of stalking with light.
The entity is amplifying helicopter activity flying over my apartment, and the light source is right here over my apartment. And this is at what is 5:25 in the afternoon.
This is speaking to the demon possession of the entity that is indeed engaged in group stalking and also keep engaging in that pattern of conduct with knowledge of the fact that their criminal system is being exposed and published onto the venue of the internet. This is where the entity is concentrating helicopter activity, and at 12:59 p.m., engaging in what is repeatedly, not just 12:59, but 12:53 to 12:56. This is ongoing circling, the ongoing chorus of amplified helicopter activity. These demons that are just flying around in circles, like I've stated, necessarily wearing diapers, because the demons of the LAPD are never taking a nap. They're never taking a break. They're violent sex offenders keeping me under surveillance, both while I'm physically indisposed during any and all private activity, which is public information amongst a demon-possessed population that's engaged in heavy duty and demonic group stalking conduct in violation of my constitutional and human rights. And they also are aware of the fact that I'm documenting it and publishing it onto the venue of the internet, which is why, and at the same time where the entity is engaging in repeatedly stalking in a manner that can be perceived, which is to communicate a threat, while you are demonstrating the fact that you're demon possessed and you are on its face and in substance stalking. Okay, so I want you to see what is the maintenance of the light source that's over my apartment right now. And this is defying what is nature. This is where the entity is repeatedly flying over the apartment. And this is 1:30 in the afternoon, where the entity is maintaining a light source over my head, as you saw this morning at 8:30 in the morning. This is P.O.C. All right, this is where the entity is circling for a series of minutes when the entity is sounding helicopter activity, and 12:59 p.m. they're concentrating the helicopter activity where the fake sun is. The fake sun is over me. This is the same location where I'm showing you the sunrise at 6:55. I'm standing in front of my apartment building at 8:30 in the morning. I return here at 1:58 as I documented on June 17, 2024. It is 1:31 in the afternoon, and contrary to when I walked back to my office on June 17th, 2024 at 1:58, and I walk down that direction and the light source is over the leasing office. It's not over the leasing office because it remains wherever it is that I remain, which is how I have still this light source in alignment to me after 7 p.m. That's how you get the type of documentation that I have already on the record, speaking to what is the evidence of demon possession and group stalking by let me point out, pay attention to what you're looking at. This is the same staircase that I'm standing at right now to get the light source over my head in my apartment building, and this is at 8:30. It's directly over the top of my head right now at 1:30 in the afternoon. 9, 10, 11, 12, okay, yeah, that's 5 hours later. That's non-movement of the sun. But nonetheless, what I'm capturing is the light source that's remaining in alignment to me as I'm documenting, and I want you to see the sunset through in perfect alignment with me while I'm inside of my bedroom, and that which is a light source and not the sun is remaining. That's hours from now. So that's 6 hours from now, where the necessary maintenance of the light source, speaking to what is group stalking by the state. And the state is demon possessed. The government actors, in other words, those people that are in the position of government, are engaging in criminal conduct in the state of California, and they're doing it with the population that are the constituents of the state. This is massive, okay, pervasive demon possession by the population, and this is how this is why I'm able to capture this phenomenon, and why. And how the behavioral pattern is shared amongst a bunch of strangers that do not necessarily need to know. Group stalking has nothing to do with the familial or personal relationship that the target individual or any of the people of the state have with each other. It's based on the pattern of behavior. And this is the light source in alignment to me inside of my apartment at 7:04 p.m. This is my bedroom window with the blinds that are closed. This is documented again at what is 6:58. The video ends at 7:04 p.m. And what you're looking at right now is the light source that's over my apartment at the same address right now at 1:32 in the afternoon, 1:33 in the afternoon. That is the pattern of conduct, and this is indeed where the entity, while I'm inside of my apartment, let me be clear, Speaker Companies, which is a third party, is group stalking and engaged in monitoring in the workplace in concert with the state. And in referencing the state in that criminal act of obstruction of justice, it is a threat to engage in what is, it's a threat to your life, your physical safety, your overall well-being, while they are group stalking you first in the workplace, and then threatening to engage in a retaliatory conduct as you document and expose their criminal conduct, which, by the way, is criminal activity that's done in concert with the government. So I want to make sure that I expose that, because Heather Till's going to federal prison. This is the specific environment where I'm subject to this criminal conduct, and and she is speaking as the state, not speaking as a legitimate company, and this is maliciously so. All right, so I want to make sure that you are aware of that. This is clearly shown through the pattern of conduct. This is the same bedroom where the entity engages in a circus light activity, which is terrorism via directed light, and it occurs inside of my private space. They are engaged in 24-hour surveillance, and that is evidenced through the demonic light activity that's maintained on a 24-hour basis. That means both day and night. At nighttime, I've shown you the engineered light. The pattern of the blinds appears on the wall adjacent to my window at an upward trajectory. The engineered lights appearing in my living room at nightfall, where LAPD is stalking in helicopters and disrupting quiet enjoyment. And the pattern of those living room blinds are on the ceiling above my head, and it's the color orange. And street lamps are never creating that sort of light activity. It's the same engineered lights, just in a different color, and it's present at nightfall, maintaining the elements of monitoring. Because the people of the state are not sleeping, and the entity is not enjoying any quiet enjoyment, because they're engaged in 24-hour hovering, obsessive, psychotic group stalking. And you also know that because the entity is stalking in helicopters, the entity is stalking with the people of the state. The people of the state are not sleeping. Okay, and that's just the ability to prosecute, but you're going to use every word speaking to malice against the people of the state, and that's relevant to how long they're going to federal prison, because they are going to federal prison. It's currently 1:35 p.m. It's Thursday, June 20th, 2024. This is P.O.C. while the light source remains over the front door of my apartment to remain over my head as I walk back to my leasing office, where I just showed you pictures and video. You are already aware of the pattern of conduct. As I go back to my leasing office, that's exactly where the fake sun remains, to the exclusion of the rest of the country and any other location that is not capable of having the sun that I am looking at over building 1802 in alignment with me at 5 p.m. and then in alignment with my bedroom window after 7 p.m. That's speaking to the crime scene where federal group stalking and monitoring is underway, and it's terrorism while a government is practicing demonic activity with the population, which Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, the mayor of the demon-possessed population who are group stalking, is not ignorant about that. That's ongoing knowledge of a corrupt government who is engaging in facilitating criminal activity amongst the people in concert with the corrupt government that is under the leadership of Robert Luna, for example, and Dominic Choi. That's how you have departments engaging in a pattern of conduct that is documented even before coming to LA. This is a pattern by the state. None of these leaders are ignorant. They are fully engaged in this criminal system, and their condition needs to be known. These are the demon-possessed who need to be removed from the positions that they currently hold. It is currently 1:36 p.m., and this is P.O.C.